Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor. Welcome to Monday Magic Intuitive Energy Reading, where we take a quick peek into the energies that we've experienced this last week and sort of tap into what we're experiencing right now. Welcome to the new studio. We have arrived. It is very much in flux. So you will maybe see some things moving around. I literally got this set up this morning. So we're moving, we're shaking. So welcome. We're in the new house. We are in the new office studio, and it is beautiful and amazing. So how did you fare with the solar weather and the intensity this past week? We are on week 3 of unsettled solar weather. The Schumann resonance has, done its normal thing, nothing too surprising or crazy, but the solar weather has been very interesting. We did slow down in the solar flares. We had less M-class solar flares, less C-class solar flares, no X-class flares. But we did have ongoing unsettled KP conditions. We kind of rode that wave at about KP4 for the last couple of weeks, minus the big spikes we had in the week prior. So it's interesting how the intensity just continues. For whatever reason, you could point to some astrological things, but the intensity seems greater than what the astrology would suggest. October looks very interesting. I'm not even going to begin to try to explain some of this stuff. We've got Mars connected with the South Node. We've got Mercury and Neptune standing off. Saturn's in play. Pluto's in play. Definitely check out your favorite astrologer to get sort of a sneak peek into the week. My recent favorite has been Lunatic Astrology. She is a fellow Aries, so I'll link her below, but definitely check out the professionals for the astrology forecast for October, which looks very interesting. So we'll put that on the side and say that might be part of what is contributing to the intensity, but really from my intuitive sense, it is a ramping up of the shift, the changes, the ascension, whatever you want to call it. We are moving towards a new world. And the analogy always comes to mind of having all of the junk stuffed in a closet, right? You have all of the tennis rackets and the soccer balls and the gym shoes and the coats and everything's shoved in there. And we kind of closed the door and didn't want to look at the mess. And now we are in the stage of having to pull all of the stuff out of the closet. And when it was behind closed doors, it didn't really seem like a problem. We didn't have to look at it. But now we have to sort through it. We have to acknowledge that there is mold growing in the soccer shoes that were put in there when they were wet, right? That there are systems and issues in our world today that need to be addressed. And because they are unsustainable, the systems are crumbling. And so it doesn't look pretty, but it feels good. And this is kind of the theme for today that I want to address. I have a window over here, by the way, so this is still new, getting used to ignoring distractions. Time is distorted, and it has felt like days are very long or weeks are very long. For those of us who are enjoying what we're doing, what we're feeling like I have a lot of time to get all the things done. For others of us who are doing things that don't really want to be doing, it feels like time is slow and it's dragging on, and I just want this day to be over. So it's very fascinating how I've had a sense that time is shifting and changing, and I'm sure many of you have. But rather that time is shifting and changing in a way that we're not going to go back to, that time itself is fading away. And this is going to be part of the shift. This is going to be part of how life and the world changes. It's not just us as the awakened beings who are no longer going to feel trapped by time, but rather the whole collective society is going to shift away from the restrictions, the boxes that we have put ourselves in because of time. There's rapid changes happening. Things are busy, and it feels like things are being put into place. We are it's almost like we shifted train tracks, we shifted timelines. We are in a new era, not just a new chapter. And thank you, beautiful Lori of Morning Gratitude, for delivering that message in our community on Friday. That was something she channeled, and it was something a couple of our other members have kind of been dancing around as well. As it just feels, everything feels different. It's not just a move. It's not just a new backdrop. It is a whole new era. It's a whole new life. It's a whole new timeline. And I have that visual of shifting train tracks. So things are busy because we are trying to get things. It feels as if we are trying to get things in order. We are preparing for something. And the last 3 weeks have been pretty intense for many of us. I would say last week, the beginning of last week, so about 7 days ago, maybe even 7 to 10 days ago, it felt as if there was a little bit of an easing in between there where things got a little bit easier. There was a little bit of a break, and then the intensity increased again. Today, now I'm feeling more of a break, right? And it very likely has to do with the fact that I just moved October 1st. I no longer have to shift boxes or clean the old house, right? And this can tend to kind of happen for people within a few days of each other. Some people feel it a day or two before, some people feel it a couple days after, but usually within a week or two, most people who are in our community are feeling these shifts and changes. And it does depend on where you're at in your healing journey. If you're still in that very early phase of being traumatized and in resistance and kind of trying to look away at disassociation, I don't want to see the problems, things can be more difficult, things can be heavier, they can be slower, because you're in resistance to the flow. You're not in the flow of your life. But for those of us who are sort of on the other side of the healing and are in the deconditioning phase, which I would put myself in, I think that there's probably a good 7 to 10 years after healing trauma where you're still deconditioning from the habits, from the tendencies, things like hustle and grind culture, taking on too much, overdoing it. Those are my personal challenges, and that will be a longer process in weeding myself out of that tendency. Although what I'm getting at here is in this moment, it feels as though there's less pressure, there is less intensity. Our needs are being met more quickly, which is really interesting. Manifestation is in hyperspeed, as if I say it and there it is. And again, I think that has a lot to do with the stage of healing that you're in. If you're in the flow, if you're allowing things to move through you, if you are keenly aware of those moments where you're in resistance to something, or you're holding on to a limiting belief, if you're restricting the flow of the electromagnetic energy that is designed to move through you at all times, you may not be experiencing those quick manifestations as much so as if you are healed and in on the other side of the healing sort of milestone into the deconditioning. It does feel as though this is interesting how this keeps wanting to come through, is we're preparing for something. And I have been saying it feels like something's coming. I think I said last week, it reminds me of the feeling I had pre-COVID. And we're not in the same place anymore. We're not the same people anymore. Collectively, as a globe, we are not the same. So I don't think that this is going to be just a replay of 2020. But I do feel something big is coming. Maybe it's the shift. Maybe there's I don't want to speculate. The maybes are not feeling well. So I'll just say it feels very much like it's the calm before the storm. Whatever is coming, we are building towards something. And I'm not going to speculate on what that is, although I do have a very strong sense of a cleanup is what's coming through. That there will be a collective purge and a cleanup. And that leads to those brighter days that we have been waiting for. Things are being put into place, being organized. It's almost as if I needed to be here and I couldn't have been in my old place for whatever's about to come. This location, this house, this state of being, whatever it was necessary for whatever is about to come. So if you're seeing those shifts and changes in your life, kind of look at them as the divine reordering instead of being in resistance to it. What is coming is going to be good for those who are ready. This is another fascinating theme that I have been really feeling into, is it feels weird to look around at the world today and see everything is crumbling. Systems are crumbling. People are more divided than ever. It would appear that we should be worried. It would appear that we should be concerned, that we should be stressed. And yet, at the same time, when I bring my awareness into my own presence, into my own space, everything's amazing. Everything is awesome. It just keeps getting better and better and better. And again, it has a lot to do with the stage of healing that you're in. But what this message is what's coming is good for those who are ready. It says that it doesn't have to be painful. We don't want to assume suffering because we are creating so quickly right now that when you say, I'm going to be protected, that we can allow the world to crumble around us. And yet we will be safe, standing firm in the eye of the storm. And it reminds me very much of this feeling that you get when you go through the healing process. No longer do you feel thrashed by the waves of life. You feel more like floating in a back float on a calm, peaceful ocean. Even though everything around you is chaotic, there's stillness within you. When we heal, we become able to stand firm in our own being. There is a sense of safety created within our own physical being that no one can shake. No one can take away from us. And just in case you're new here, I want to clarify, when I say healing, I'm talking about somatic trauma healing therapies like trauma spotting that I do, or there's other somatic healing therapies out there. EMDR and brain spotting are great. They will get you most of the way there, but without the spiritual component, they're incomplete. I'm not trying to promote anything, but I want to clarify that healing requires inner work, physical inner work. It requires working with the body. Trauma is housed in the body. The body keeps the score. And so we can talk about it. We can do breath work. We can think our way through what we think is healing and still have trauma stored in the body. And again, just a clarification point, if you did not feel safe, seen, heard, cared for, or loved for an extended period of time at any point in your life, you likely experienced some sort of trauma, likely complex trauma. If you don't identify as having experienced trauma, that's okay. But I will tell you, the vast majority of the world is exhibiting trauma responses right now. And it may not have been your family. It may be the society that you live in. The world at large is not taking care of us the way it needs to. It's out of balance. So know that healing, complete healing to the point that brings you to a sense of unshakable confidence and unshakable safety within yourself, requires somatic healing, requires that you work with source and the natural healing abilities of the body to regain your wholeness. Okay. Didn't plan on that, but that's there. Okay. So perfect timing. The next note was prepare to grow and gain strength in your mind, your body, and your soul. And this one's been coming through for a while. We need to get stronger for whatever's about to come through. That does mean physical. So that means cleansing, detoxing, lifting weights, exercising from a place of desire to gain strength, not a place of punishment. It requires mental hygiene, right? Again, that trauma healing, we have to really fully understand the mechanism that is our body that is designed to manifest, and we are manifesting all the time, whether we realize it or not. So if we're not keenly aware of what's in our subconscious and conscious mind, we are not aware of what's in our body, we are not aware of how we're manifesting. And so we want to get strong in mind, body, and soul, right? We want to heal and release and nourish, feed your soul. There should be an equal amount or more time spent in nourishing yourself, in feeding your soul. We spend way too much time working and then doing chores and then sleeping only to wake up and do it again. That's not the life that we were designed to live. That is not a balanced life. How much time do you spend in nature? How much time are you feeding and nurturing your soul? We really want to start to recognize that our capacity to gain strength does require being fed. Just like the physical body requires food to operate throughout the day, our soul requires food to be able to withstand the bombardment of everything coming at us at all times, right? The other important points that were coming through around what's coming is we have to let go of expectation. And we have to know that change is coming, but we don't know what that's going to look like. We will never be able to anticipate what's about to happen. It reminds me of when I was unhealed and in hypervigilance, and I felt like it was always up to me to solve every problem. I would come up with solution A, B, and C for potential problem A, B, and C, or X, Y, Z, however you want to look at it. And I thought that I was being so smart in thinking about all the possible ways things could go wrong. And I was prepared with backup plans for each of those possible scenarios. And yet, what I realized as I went through the healing journey, as if I would just allow life and source to solve those problems for me, the solutions that came through were far better than anything I ever could have come up with. I never in a million years could have fathomed the solution that came through. So we tend to get in our own way when we cling to things and we tell source how we need it to be or how it has to be. So we want to let go of expectations and know that what this big change, it is a big change, the big change that is coming will be far beyond our expectations. And we have to trust the process, because usually it doesn't look good at first, but it always works out far better than we ever could have anticipated, right? So we will find balance and peace and purpose on the other side of what's coming. I'm going to say that one more time. We will find balance, peace, and purpose on the other side of what's coming. So you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for the big shift. The big shift in your life can happen right now as soon as you commit to your healing. Let go of the struggle. Let go of the belief that life has to be hard. Let go of the hustle and grind culture. Let go of the belief that you have to work to earn, to deserve. No, we deserve peace and balance and purpose now, and we can have that. All we have to do is start the healing process. And I can say these things so confidently because I have lived it. My life was ugly and messy and painful, and I thought for sure it was always going to be that way. And it's not. And it doesn't have to be for you either. You just need to know how to heal and how to play the game called life. And it can be enjoyable, and you can glide through these shifts and changes with ease. You don't have to wait. Last sticky note worth of notes here. Be still. Be still. Be still and hear and receive the guidance. Take the action that you receive when you are in stillness. Take that divinely guided, inspired action. Make changes in your life. If there's something you don't like, make the change. Declare it. I am making this change. This is shifting and changing for me now. A few weeks ago, probably about 2 months ago now, I hit a point where I said, I can't do it this way anymore. It was too much. I needed to consolidate my home so that I had help with my kids. It was too much. I was trying to play the masculine and the feminine, to be a single mom and a businesswoman. It was too much. And I hit a breaking point. And the reason this is important is because the next note was allow yourself to feel strong desire. Because when I said enough is enough is enough, I'm done with this, something's got to shift and change now, it did. Yesterday, I was throwing a football at the pool and I couldn't get that darn thing to spiral. And I said in one moment, I want this ball to spiral. And the next one and everyone after that did. Maybe one or two didn't after that, but most of them did. Manifestations are coming through very, very quickly. And they are uninhibited when you are pure, when not pure as in perfect, but when it's pure desire. There's no resistance to it. You don't have a trauma hiding in your blind spot, hiding in your subconscious that says, yeah, but that's not safe. I want wealth, but it's not safe. I want to be successful, but I don't want to be seen. That's what I mean. It's pure because it's uninhibited, right? Allow yourself to feel those strong desires. Don't suppress your needs. By the way, it is not a superpower to be able to suppress your needs. That's a trauma response. Allow yourself to feel the desires, because when you emanate that powerful enough is enough, this is changing now, then things shift and change. So the power of the desire that moves through your heart is part of your frequency and your vibration, that emanation that says, now, I'm waiting no more. I'm making these shifts and changes. If there's something in your life that you don't like, make the change. Start taking action towards it and trust that the universe will support you. Do not suppress what you need. See what you need and say yes, not I don't have. So we want to reframe, what does it mean when I see someone who has something that I want? Instead of throwing a little inner tantrum of, I want that, I should have that, I've worked hard, I deserve that. Why don't I have that yet? Why did they get that and I don't have that? Instead of having that kind of response, we can recognize the universe is showing things to you and saying, do you want this? Do you want this? You can say, yes, that is beautiful. I would love to have that in my life. Thank you for offering. We want to start to say yes and emanate that. Yes, I would love that. How beautiful, how amazing, how awesome, how grateful I am that I get to have that too. Manifestations are happening quickly. Purify your vessel, remove those traumas and those limiting beliefs that prevent it from happening quicker. And you can move towards the life of your dreams. Stop telling yourself the story that you can't. So feel into what you truly desire. Know that even this business, right? It's constantly changing. Do I want a little more of this? Do I want a little less of that? Do I want to move towards more cinematic style YouTube videos, more entertaining, more fun? Yeah, I do. Do I want to move away from having all of these different offerings? Do I want to move away from and maybe just consolidate all courses in the community? Probably. These are some things that have come to me in the last couple of weeks, and it'll shift and change again. Just know that you don't have to get it perfect. I loved something I heard, it was a well-known YouTuber. If you ever watch this and I'm not quoting you properly, I apologize. I don't want to say the wrong name, so I'm not going to say anything. But the analogy was, you can't steer a parked car. And think about that for a minute. You can't steer a parked car. It makes a lot of sense. You can't try to shift and change your life if you're not moving. You have to at least take a step towards the thing you think you want right now. You'll never have your vision perfect. You'll never have your business plan perfect. You'll never have your niche perfect. You'll never have a full roadmap to, this is my purpose and this is how I'm going to go about it. All you get is the next right step. Just take one step and know that you can pivot in any moment you please. That's what it means to feel into what you truly desire. Is you have to step into it and feel it and say, I like this, or I don't like that, or I want to shift this and I want to change that. It's like the soup of life. You add some salt, you add some pepper, you add some water, you add some starch, you taste it, you let it marinate, you come back, taste it again tomorrow. Oh, it's too salty. Add some more water. That's how life is meant to be lived. We get so bogged down in perfectionism and having to do it right and fear of failure and fear of upsetting someone that we freeze. Again, all trauma responses, right? Feel into what you desire, make changes and take steps towards what you want, and watch it manifest. And I find it very fascinating now that I come to the end of these notes, how we start with something big is shifting and changing, something is coming, and yet they still want you to work on manifesting your dreams, to work on moving towards your purpose. The tide rises all boats. What that means is, as you elevate your vibration, as you rise your own self in your own life, you are helping raise the collective. The divine needs you to be happy. As you raise your vibration, you support the healing of the collective whole. It is not selfish. You do not have to have a purpose that is to save the world. You don't have to have some grandiose vision that is worthy of your having it. Just whatever you desire. I do know where this one came from. Amanda Francis. It is safe to trust the guidance of your desires. It is safe to trust the guidance of your desires. Nothing is off the table. Your creator lives in you. You are your creator's favorite creation. And your creator created everything you see in the world around us. Nothing is off limits. Don't limit yourself. You're the only thing standing in your way. Big, beautiful things are coming, and you may as well get on the train now. All right. I love this message that came through today. It was awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm loving the open receptivity that this shift and changes made in my life. So I look forward to bringing you more divinely guided messages in the very near future. I love you, my friends. I love you so, so much. You too can be right here. I don't want you to ever look at me and say, yeah, but it's not true. Flick that little trauma demon off your shoulder. Tell him to shut up. All right. I love you, my friends. I will see you in the next video. Namaste.